So we're here today to talk about what initially sparks that drive, that ambition within your brain, turning you from boring to ambitious. Well, I hope that I can supply with a bit of value, with a bit of knowledge and understanding, and let's just get right into it. First and foremost, and most noticeably for me, would probably be your situation and your environment. Right now, let's just take it one step at a time. Environment. What I believe most of the time is people's environments aren't necessarily the environment that they desire. It's not nearly as good as they, like everyone wants a mansion. Everybody, wants maybe a few people want a nicer flat, a nicer apartment, whatever lifestyle you so desire. And it's not that, but that's okay. Because you can still nicen it up to be almost, it's just, that's not even the point. The point is, vast majority of people's environments are messy. They're dirty, they're unclean. There's clothes all over the floor. There's multiple dishes in the kitchens. There's pillows and remotes all over the lounge. You'd be quite surprised how much people don't actually have the discipline to just regularly clean and do basic chores. But anyway, whilst it is bad, it's not all that bad, but nor is it good. And that simply keeps you directly in the middle, right? That it's not bad enough for you to be motivated and for you to be like, what is this pigsty that I'm living in? Not at all. Matter of fact, it's just enough to keep you idle, to keep you directly in the middle. It's comfort, right? It might be a little bit messy in your room, but it still functions as a room. Your kitchen might be filthy and a bunch of dishes, but it still operates as a kitchen. It doesn't bother you that much because you're only there for like a minute and then you're out. You understand? It's enough to keep you lenient. Second, we have situation, which could be anything. And I know I won't act like people don't go through stuff. Everyone goes through stuff. And situation could be anything. It could be your grandmother's in hospital, your mother's in hospital. You're going through a terrible breakup, your relationship's stuck, your family's fighting with you, friends are being really, really rude to you lately and you feel disrespected. It could be anything. Situation as well almost acts as the same as environment. However, situation is usually accumulated over time and it actually becomes what you're used to almost. You have the same friends, but it acts the same as environment, right? I know some people are actually willing to make a change and leave a few friends and even dip their own family, but I'm mainly talking to the people who genuinely are too weak to make these set decisions. And me personally, I'm just trying to supply as much value, as much knowledge as I possibly can to you and just what I've learned. Again, situation also acts as this thing that just keeps you comfortable. It keeps you still. You can't really get rid of family. That's undoubtedly the hardest to deal with. But for friends, you can always leave friends. I know a lot of people might not want to. Me personally, I had friends that I'd had for like 8-9 years. And recently, for a while actually, I've been trying to get them onto self-improvement such as I've been trying to motivate them, try and hand them these opportunities, anything to like get my friends on board so that we can walk this road together. Right, I just began to realize that it's like 20-second motivation. It's like, yes, you know what, we're pumped up, let's do this. And then next day, there's nothing, no proof whatsoever. And maybe there's this one little thing that my one friend would be doing. I can't give you too much information, but there'd be this one thing that he's doing, and then I ask him about it and I follow up, and then there's nothing at all. Super duper inconsistent. And when it comes to self-improvement, consistency is super important, maybe the most important. But the point is, I came to realize that these guys aren't really going to make much of a change. And their situation, like I just described to you, it's not the very best, but it's not all that bad, but it's not all that good. And that's that. There's nothing bad enough. There's not a good enough reason for them to be motivated, for them to snap, for them to have this reason of why they want to get on self-improvement. And that doesn't mean get mega rich. Not everyone has to get mega rich, not at all, not in the slightest. But self-improvement is just bettering yourself, right? You don't live in filth, you don't live disgustingly or unpurposefully. Every day you spend with intention. You don't immediately wake up and go start scrolling on TikTok. If you do that, I suggest you stop. Second, we have family, friends, and experiences. Now, I just did recently talk about family and friends. When it comes to family, I know a lot of people feel this obligation to impress them, to live up to expectation. It happens to a lot of teens. And I'm mostly talking to teens, but adults, young adults can listen to. Again, family is quite complicated. Me personally, my family is small. I still live with them, obviously. I'm still quite young. And my situation isn't all that bad. I do have a good relationship with my mom, so I can't speak too deeply about family. But there's no getting rid of them. There's not much you can do. If you're still living with them, the best you can do is work around it. And that doesn't have to be sad. This is only if you have a terrible relationship with them. But family's family. And hopefully one day you can just move out. But experiences, I believe everyone has gone through at least maybe one traumatic experience. Trauma serves a real, very important role in our lives. I believe, quote from Andrew Tate, every single human being either learns the harder way or the hardest way. Without pain, you don't learn. And again, you can either learn the harder way or the hardest way. And I've found that advice only gets you so far. You may keep it in mind the vast majority of your lifespan, but until it happens, it's useless. When it comes to experiences, I think the mental model for most people is, oh, that's in the past. And lots of people, when it's traumatic, just try to brush it off. They try to ignore it as much as they possibly can. Or maybe it could just be an embarrassing experience. The point I'm trying to make when it comes to experiences is, as weird as it sounds, you should never want to ignore it or brush it off. I know if it's really, really severe, like I'm sure a lot of you can already think of a really, really severe one. Some of us might be thinking the same thing, but I don't believe life is better off just ignoring it, ignoring your problems. And if it's truly traumatic, definitely not. It will forever be with you. It will forever live with you because that's what you went through. That's something that happened to you specifically. The solution for many would probably be therapy or talking to friends or talking to family. Look, the best I can do is give you another personal example. For me, I always think of something traumatic, something that I'm uncomfortable thinking about, or something that's just weird or stupid that I did. And I try to run through reasons of why I feel or why it's traumatic, or what bothers me about it. I know for some it's just really, really, really vague, but even if it's really, really bad and everyone agrees that it's a traumatic experience, still try to run yourself through it. It's a process of understanding yourself. I'm always trying, when it comes to recording these videos, to be as real as possible. But as I was saying, for me personally, I always run through the reasons of why it makes me feel this way. So I think of this experience, and I'll try to do it right now. Right, so I think of this traumatic experience, and I think of what happened specifically. Let's say I was lifting dumbbells in the gym as my gym crush walked past me, and as I got so distracted, I ended up dropping it. It fell on my toe. I broke my toes, and I screamed like a little girl, and I'm forever traumatized because the entire gym laughed at me, like aggressively laughed at me. Number one, why is this so embarrassing? Why is this so traumatic for me? Well, is embarrassing myself in front of this crush the only reason I feel so embarrassed or traumatized by this experience? Well, embarrassed myself in front of my crush, broke my toes, which is very painful. The entire gym, not just my crush, but the entire gym laughed at me and now thinks I'm a joke. Well, perhaps the problem is just me simply being looked at as a joke rather than me just embarrassing myself, right? It sounds vague, it sounds stupid, it might sound like the worst explanation of a traumatic event ever. But you see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to really dive deep into like what is genuinely the thing that's bothering me and makes it so traumatic. If that happened to me, it wouldn't be the fact that I just embarrassed myself in front of my gym crush. Everyone embarrassed themselves. But it's that everyone thinks I'm an absolute joke that I crushed my toes on a dumbbell and screamed like a little girl. But enough of the side tangents. Let's try to go a little bit more on script and talk about what exactly it takes to spark, to change, to make a difference. First would be finding purpose. I know a lot of people who are on self-improvement have maybe more likely heard of finding your purpose. So finding purpose, all right, in a vague, terribly explained way as I tend to do, I apologize. It could stem from anything. I know a lot of people, like I recently explained, think that in order to do self-improvement, or self-improvement's all about getting rich. Money doesn't actually have much to do with self-improvement whatsoever. And yes, I'm labeling this self-improvement, but it doesn't have to be that. But finding purpose. For me personally, and I'm using real life examples so you don't think I'm fake. I'm trying to be as real with you as possible. For me personally, I've always found situations where I need money. Whether it's spoiling my girlfriend or just wanting to pay for a date, it's so humiliating for me when she pays for me. I always find needs for money. And I personally really do not like living in this country. I do not like the people here. I do not like the way they drive. I don't like the quality of people. I don't like, there's so profoundly little that I like about this place. And I want to live a luxurious lifestyle with good quality people far away from here, to be able to go to the shops or the mall and get whatever it is I want. I see something cool, I can finally get it instead of waiting years to get it. That is my purpose. Well, almost. Because I also found that those who struggle around me, I always find that I want to do my best to help them. The only way I can describe my purpose is having power, but the power to help people and control my own life. Freedom, almost. And that is my purpose. That's what I aspire for. And this YouTube channel is partly for that, because I also, honestly, there's a lot I want to do, but also I want to help people. And I don't care if I get massively hated for that. It doesn't matter how much hate I get, because all I'm truly trying to do is supply you with value, to teach people, to help people. Because whilst in the beginning I thought the more knowledge for me, the better, because while society is getting worse, I'm getting better. That made me feel perpetually guilty. And I felt like if you could save someone's life, like I genuinely thought of saving someone's life. But I look at someone like Hamza, the things he says, the way he says it, the men he helps, all he's trying to do is help you. We're not trying, I say we because I want to be part of that community. We're not trying to attack you. We're not trying to harm you, make you feel bad. We're trying to help you. That's why we criticize you sometimes. Okay? That is all we're trying to do. So my laptop just died and I do not know up to what point I had left the video. So I'm just going to take it from remodeling your mindset. That would be quite a long video. I currently do not have the time. But if you think that would be a very helpful video, if you think that would be very helpful for you or anyone else, please let me know. But briefly explained, remodeling your mindset is just changing your perspective. Like we briefly explained earlier, it's taking that negative energy and transforming it into opportunities, right? Whereas briefly before you would think, oh, it's just another negative experience. Oh my gosh, my mom's shouting at me. Or you would think, oh, it's just another bad experience. This is just happening to me. Let me just try to get through it and brush it off. Whether that's just not I don't believe that's what you're supposed to do. But changing your perspective, remodeling your mindset is taking that and transforming it into, okay, this is a negative experience, but this again presents an opportunity. Every negative experience presents an opportunity for you to grow, for you to be better and more disciplined, no matter how bad it is. And that's remodeling your mindset, briefly explained. For motivation, I've explained throughout this video, whilst the majority of this video, about motivation. So I'll just, again, talk about discipline instead. Discipline is, I'm sure some of you already know if you've already watched Andrew Tate, discipline's very foundation can only be explained as doing the things you're supposed to do regardless of how you feel. That is discipline in a nutshell, right? I say discipline over motivation, not because discipline's just mainly better than motivation, because if you could have infinite discipline but no motivation, that is very much the superior choice. And that's also, again, not to say that motivation's a bad thing, but that's more or less, what I'm trying to explain is simply that you're going to feel unmotivated sometimes. You could have the best purpose, the best reason ever to do what you do, to get on self-improvement, to better yourself. But as I described in a video prior to this, there are going to be days where you just don't feel like you want to do it. There are going to be days where you, for some reason, feel more tired than yesterday, where you feel like you simply just do not have the energy. Act anyway. Do it anyway. Because whilst you might think this is going to be so miserable, oh my gosh, it's going to be so tiring, I should just give myself a day off, and you start thinking of excuses of like, you know what, yeah, I do deserve a day off, and you start thinking of reasons why, trying to convince yourself. The feeling you get after completing a task whilst you feel absolutely terrible, yet you do it out of discipline, is far more amazing than sitting down, playing games, eating a bit of junk food because it's your day off or whatever. It is far more amazing. Okay? It truly, truly, truly is. I don't know how the Stoics felt about discipline. Here's a quote from Epictetus. Or was it from Marcus Aurelius? I think it was from Marcus Aurelius. Love the discipline you know and let it support you. That's how they felt about discipline. Discipline, that actually genuinely might be another topic I can make an entire video about. So, again, you might want to let me know. But as an end note to discipline is, it doesn't actually have to be all bad. You don't have to do everything miserably, but do it anyway. Going to the gym, you do out of discipline, but you can still very much enjoy it. And you can be motivated sometimes you're not. For me personally, I've always been motivated to go to the gym because I know what it means for me, what it stands for. But sometimes I did work out less effective than others. Sometimes I didn't lift as heavy. It happens, but just go anyway, just act. An idea I got from a channel ironically called Better Ideas.
Submission is basically this idea. Instead of, like when you need to do something that you know you need to do, there's all this like physiological tension, right? You feel very like, if I could just get myself to do it, right? Then I'd be a better person, but I suck, right? There's a lot of tension, right? We kind of fight ourselves. But when you have a vision for what you want to feel like, who you want to be, and you allow yourself to feel it, then submission is almost like this act of faith. It's less even psychological. It's more physiological. You just do the thing anyways. And I know that sounds very reductionistic, but doing anything in life is just doing the thing anyways. You can try to hyper cerebralize doing what you need to do and overcomplicate it, but at the end of the day, it's just a matter of doing it or not doing it. So I found personally that it's actually easier to do what's good for you if you relax into it physically and psychologically. This act of just putting one foot in front of the other and having faith that this is the right thing for you
Is the concept of easing yourself into doing the task anyway. It's to not be forcing yourself purely off willpower and draining yourself and, everything of the sort, but just easing into doing the task anyway. It doesn't have to be this hard. It doesn't have to be this difficult. You can simply, whilst it might make you a little bit tired or miserable, you can simply be like, you see, instead of, okay, and then, yeah, you understand? It's like, yep, that's a minor concept briefly explained. Now for the last segment of this video, we have minor difference versus true difference. Minor difference is you doing a few good things. Minor difference is it's almost like the concept of being a wantrepreneur. That's a minor difference. You want it, you do a few things that makes you feel like you're making progress, but you're not actually making progress. True difference, real difference, is getting up on time every single day, going to bed on time every single day. It is doing your chores, whatever they may be, or your tasks, house tasks, your tasks in general. Being disciplined, acting the way you're supposed to, learning in your free time, not playing video games or procrastinating or watching a show. It could be journaling, writing down the ideas that you come up with, or starting your business. It could be anything, as long as it is productive and it supplies value to you, okay? Entertainment, I know humans, I listened and I watched a bunch of studies about it. Humans can barely live without entertainment. But that's why, for me specifically, and I think I learned this concept from Ali Abdaal, is to make your work enjoyable. Or was it from Hamza? I think it was from both, honestly. Why not try find a way to make your work entertaining? Make yourself enjoy your work so profoundly much, and that just might be doing work that you genuinely enjoy. But by making your work enjoyable, it is entertaining. It's enough for you, right? And that's actually the best part about making your work enjoyable, or just doing something that you love. You're just doing something that you love, and you're getting paid for it. Like, should that not be everyone's ambition? Should that not be an amazing dream or thing to do? Like I said, it doesn't have to be your dream to get rich, but having a good job that you genuinely enjoy and you're getting paid for. Like, I know for some people might think, yeah, well, if I play Z League, I can get played for video games. Really? Yes, there are a few exceptions, or I wouldn't say exceptions, there are a few circumstances that do support such reasons. But it's video games. I personally would much rather be out there in the real world and get paid for that, rather than playing video games. I've tried to do it before. I've got on self-improvement and I went back to video games and it felt absolutely shit. Games still can be fun, but after a while, it's just not pleasant. And whilst some people might think 1 hour of video games a day is okay, no. Me personally, no. Like, It doesn't feel right when I play video games, and if I could live a life where my work is so enjoyable and I just don't play video games because I'm doing nothing but working, I'd love that lifestyle. I would love it. And if I'm currently going through a period of time where I'm like, oh, I want to play video games, my first thought isn't, how can I play video games and not feel guilty about it? It's, how can I make my work even more fun? Because I'm clearly not doing it right. How can I make it even more fun or easier or more accessible so that I want to do my work? And that is the difference between minor and true difference. You can tell, I surely guarantee you can tell the difference between minor and true difference. You know. I know not everyone has a 100% productive day, but strive for at least 80%. You set the standard for yourself. Be strict with yourself. Otherwise, you'll think of nothing but yourself as a joke. If you're not strict with yourself, you can't be strict with others. And then you just live a disrespected lifestyle. Alright? I hope you take that to heart. I hope you found this video useful. I hope you at least learned a thing or two. Please, again, let me know. If you're about to click away from this video, don't. Let me know, okay? I can make a whole video about discipline, a whole video about changing your mindset. Whatever it is that you think or that you might be interested in, please let me know, okay? All I want to do is help you. That is one of my goals, right? Please help me, help others, contribute to the community. I hope you have a lovely day or a lovely night wherever you are in the world. And remember the most important motto of them all: don't compare, compete.